back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through him. It's just gonna solidify everything within those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC with the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an animal immediately goes back to fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3. So back and forth.
You're good. And welcome back, everybody, to another CGL broadcast for Season 16. 2 weeks post mid-season, 2 weeks prior to the playoffs, we have our EU Diamond teams coming in here and getting some extra points in the standings to qualify for that aforementioned playoff bracket. We have Need Bastion versus John Balls. Yes, I am excited to cast this. I have MCG with us, and I just see you play yesterday? Wait a minute.
You did, yeah.
You were. Phenomenal play, by the way, yesterday. I might as well say that, put that out there. But excited to have you on the broadcast.
I'm excited to be here too. Yeah, first time, really excited. And looking to get into this.
Perfect. Well, should be a really fun one. Should be just some diamond action, and we have some more broadcasts happening later today. Right now, we have EU. Later tonight, we are going over to the NA Open scene, covering some familiar faces as well. That'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern on this channel. But otherwise, Lead Bastion coming up on deck here. I believe 2-3 in the series so far, going into week 6, and John Balls a humble 1-4 so far. So relatively not too far off in terms of records and standings. So should be a relatively even one. Should be something to look forward to as we do start off in our map pool for week 6 on Nepal. MCG as an actual player in the bracket in the tournament. How do you feel about Nepal?
I like Nepal. You can switch up the comps a little bit on it, not too much. It's mainly just going to be brawl on brawl, but you can whip out a bit of dive if you really want. It's fairly flexible. It's a nice map to play on.
Yeah, for sure. We saw a couple of bans yesterday on Nepal. Symmetra was a really popular one as well because again, the Symmetra village. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah, 100%. That was my decision to do that one yesterday.
It was a good one.
Really didn't want to. Yeah.
It was a really good one. I agree. Sim, especially on just Nepal, the Lijiang Towers of the world, Control in general, very much a annoyance as a character. But you mentioned it. The flexibility is definitely there for Nepal between Sanctum into Temple into Village. Really, the brawl can definitely come through with Orisa, for example, kind of coming back. Even seeing a lot more Ball, Winston, things like that. So really from these teams, especially with Need Bastion namesake, I am kind of expecting Bastion to be likely played here. So again, it just comes down to what the bans could fall towards as well. We talked about Symmetra, some other good bans I'm sure we'll see coming into this map.
Yeah. I could definitely see something like just a ban on one of the brawl tanks, kind of try and force it into a mirror in your favor, maybe just get rid of a matcher or the Orisa, as you said, just make life a little bit easier for yourself. There's plenty of options you can really choose from.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned Ramatra as well. Ramatra is kind of, after the first patch, but not the new one, but the previous one, he kind of fell off. Bug finally saved grace. The bug armor patch, the armor bug patch did get removed, thankfully, and then this new patch, we kind of saw some changes to people or characters like Reaper, for example, which was starting to become very popular, especially with just the synergy he has with a Zarya, right? And I think Zarya can still
Yeah.
definitely be worked on. It can definitely come
100%.
through, but you don't really have that free charge as often as you would with a Reaper
Yeah.
guy just blazing it forward, right? So that's something I do think is maybe worth mentioning. Is maybe we see some Zarya, maybe not. No Reaper, maybe more
Yeah.
Genji and Tracer. I feel like it's pretty popular as of late.
hmm Yeah, no, double flanker seems to be really popular. But I do think with the Reaper nerves specifically, the Soldier and Freya's of the world can get into comps a lot easier now because you're not going to have a bubble shotgun on your head, you know? Just becomes way, way more simpler to play the hit scan.
Oh, for sure. Oh my god, so she's back. She was never really back. She was never really gone. You know, that's
That's
the funny part of it all. She took a little break, I feel like, in the last patch, and then she's kind of, as you mentioned, with Reaper kind of going down, you can go back to playing the Sojourn and having so much value with, rail shots, for example, and just kind of cleaning up fights or opening fights so easily with the character. She's so flexible in the beginning, middle, and end of fights. Some characters are more impactful in the beginning, some more impactful near the end. But she's just all around a good one. This sun is crazy. Hold on. Let me go this way. So with that being said, I think Sojourn's definitely something that is or could be seen here. Maybe even banned out. Also, backline Wu Yang, still a problem. Don't like him. Don't like him at all. Ban him every single day. If I can get repeat bans in CG, life would be worth living. I really, truly. Like that backline.
Yeah. I mean, I've 5,000 hours on Lucio. I'm very much happy with Lucio's in the meta, you know? So, less Wu Yang is great for me.
I agree. Oh my gosh. Just bring me back to Bap. Not even Kiri Lucio. Bring me back to Baptiste. Just bring me back. Bring me back to Baptiste Lucio. Bring me back to Baptiste.
I mean, there was a bit of a Baptiste play, actually, even before the latest patch in, like, Korea. They were playing a bit of it, but it was usually when Kiriko was banned, because, she's just so flexible.
Oh, she's just so good. But we are finally here in the ban phase, waiting on our official bans, but we have players in the lobby. We have them ready to go, thankfully. So John Balls will be having the first phase of the ban phase, right? And again, with a first map like Control, ban phase can kind of come down to just what do you not want to play against Control versus something more targeted, unless you really know the team you're going up against. So this could again become something more attuned to a ban on a Tracer or a Symmetra or maybe just a Zar. It's something that you don't really want to play into, not necessarily super targeted towards Bastion need or towards need Bastion.
Yeah, no, it's super hard to get the target ban in the first round if you really don't know your opponent. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But again, as you said, a Tracer, Sim, Zarya, something like that is a very, very nice pick just to out the gate have a feel of what's coming at you.
Oh, for sure. And also, I mean, the slight target ban could be a Bastion. And that could always be a real thing, right? Because I feel like I'm looking at, of course, the player sheets, excuse me, for Need Bastion, or at the very least their chats, and they all want Bastion as their favorite hero. So I'm just saying, I do think we might see some fun stuff. If I see a Ryan come out with a Bastion, Lucio, Baptiste, I am having. But John Balls looks like they are going to be securing their first ban onto Genji. Again, a pretty solid ban. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. The flank plays have become really popular with Tracer, Genji, what have you. So this does pretty much make sense, at least to me.
No, definitely. Like, it's a lot easier to handle something like a Tracer really than a Genji if your backline is kind of going to be playing independently, and especially if they do want to lean into the hit scan. It's just life is just easier without the Genji in play.
Oh, 100%. And deflect is like, oh, brother, I can't even shoot. I'm gonna die. So
yeah,
it makes sense. And I do want to say maybe we, of course, other two bans will have to be a tank or a support ban. I am leaning, funnily enough, I'm leaning towards more of a support ban. Ban out Kiri, ban out Wu Yang, ban out somebody that is a little too high up there, a little bit too egotistical in their role right now. Well, again, Kiri is a big one, and Wu Yang I feel like it just comes without a question. You could also kind of mitigate a brawl by banning out Lucio. I know we both have on my poor Frog Boy, but banning out Lucio enters any sort of speed advantage that either team could have. So I feel like that could also be a pretty solid one, especially again if we're kind of expecting a pseudo brawl with a Ram or an Orisa. Even Ryan, I'll put in there for funsies. You know, I think any of those would be really hindered without their favorite speedster to move them around the map.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, the Juno just is not really playable at the moment. So if you ban Lucio, you're really pigeonholing them into playing a lot slower of a comp. But personally, I do prefer going for the tank ban, especially on a control if the DPS is taken already. You know, just narrow down the options, as I said earlier. Make things a bit more predictable for yourself.
Yeah, makes complete sense. I mean, I feel like, you know, with one tank kind of being the playstyle of Overwatch 2, they do tend to be the ones that lead the charge. They're the ones that kind of put together what we want to play and how the playstyle is going to be, you know? So that completely makes sense. And especially if you kind of find a tank that the other person's very fond of playing, that could also put a big inhibitor on their favorites and what they're comfortable on. And that being said, Ramatra will be the ban of choice from Need Bastion, taking the Omnic out of the engagement. In fact, 2 of them really, Genji Cyborg, or Omnic. Pretty good. I think these are pretty safe bans and pretty general bans. I feel like every flex DPS has a Genji. Every main tank right now has definitely had a Ramatra, especially as of 2 seasons ago. You need to have him in your back pocket. So this definitely makes sense as a general comfort kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it makes it easier as well if you want to play something a bit more divey. You don't have to worry about the slow just completely messing up your engage, you know? Especially if it's a wrecking ball, like, just gets obliterated by the thing.
For sure, that vortex, ooh, before they even passed it, and you were just like, you would get in the vortex, you just wouldn't move. You just wouldn't move. Oh, I remember just being like, my hands are off my keyboard because what's the point in pressing W? What's the point in anything? I just die here. I cannot move. I don't have TP. I don't have anything.
Exactly.
GG's, go next. No, it really wasn't Death Sentence. And he's in Nemesis form, punching at me. Yeah, as I look at him like this. We're dead. We're just dead. Oh my goodness. We lived sometimes. And that was only like a patch ago, too bad. We lived in some
2 or 3 months ago, yeah.
Oh. We willingly played with a bugged out Ramatra, and they were like, yeah, that's fine. No, that's no problem. But we got our bans in. Genji Ramatra. This makes me think we're going to see Orisa a lot.
Yo, I think so, yeah. I almost put money on it.
Almost, not quite. Almost.
Yeah.
What I like about casting between Diamond and then like our Masters GM tiers is that Diamond, I feel like, do tend to be a lot more flexible in the compositions. Like a lot of times in Masters and GM and even Open, they'll play what really is meta, what really is working, and of course tuning into like player strengths. Diamond just has to have, they tend to have a lot more fun, and that sounds like bad, but not in a bad way. Just like they tend to have a lot more fun with their comps. You know, I'll see things I haven't seen in months, and I'm like, oh, we're busting out Echo, like, whoa. Let me see what's going on with this one.
Yeah, it falls back onto comfort picks a lot more, I think. Like, you're going to probably see like a lot more Diva, you know, than you would higher up, and like Diva specifically is one, especially because, you know, console teams, it's a rite of passage, really.
And then we did see some Diva bans yesterday too, right? Like, and some players, again, it went back to, again, to mention your match guy was just casting it yesterday. There was a Diva ban because their tank happened to really like to play Diva, and she is, to an extent, relatively okay because defense matrix versus your hit scans, like your soldiers of the world, your Cassies of the world, it kind of puts them in a little bit of a tougher place. Also, if you're playing into a Winston, like 9 times out of 10, she's pretty okay into that matchup, right? But it's pretty easy to kind of, you go Zarya, go Sam, call it, you know, and I've seen it happen, and I'm like, yeah, GG's, like, swap.
You just have to get really active really fast if you want it to work. It's the name of the game, really.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Swap, if you see that swap come out, you just, you know, your time's up, get on the Orisa.
No, really, and I feel like that's also a big thing for a lot of teams is that they either swapped maybe too early, and then they kind of lose momentum, or they swap way too late, and it's too late to actually take back momentum that was taken from the other team. So finding that little perfect balance of when to swap and everything like that is such a, I feel like it's such a what's the word, underused skill or underappreciated skill that people don't usually highlight at all. Need Bastion, however. No Bastion on the field. We have Reaper coming with Rosaria, and then John Ball is a accomplishment that I do quite like. The Ana Brig, a very rare comeback, especially on Nepal places. I like
especially
it.
From Wu Yang Lover on the Ana as well, you know?
No, for real. Like, where's the Wu Yang? Hello? What Buffalo? Whoa. What Baloo is on Soldier? What do we feel about Soldier?
I mean, he's fine if you're solo queuing. I'm not too sure about team play though.
That's how I feel. I saw Soldier earlier as well, and I was just like, oh, well, this is a really great kind of playing character, but if you're in a team play, it's so easy to pressure out a Soldier like that. Even more so, John Ball is being pushed back pretty much by Need Bastion here, and with that being said, they're trying to fight it out, trying to brawl out against the Zarya with a Winston dive, and with all due respect, I feel like, again, with your Soldier going down first, maybe Need Bastion are just going to be able to clean up the opposition relatively easily. We do lose out on Fuse so fast, but John Balls will be the ones to actually go to a point first, despite being the ones losing, low-key losing the...
Yeah, no, it's really is a tough matchup for the Winston here. Like, yeah, I don't think you're going to get much change from the Soldier, and then especially you're playing into a Bold Reaper. Like, there's just nothing you can do about it. You know, you have to hold off on the nade or the sleep, and by that point, he's just going to have done a lot of damage already.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, on paper, Winston into Zarya, oh, love it. Like, I love me going into Zarya, but then you have the Reaper on top of that. It's like, okay, buddy, like, it's gonna be a little bit tougher, right? And especially when you don't have your Tracer with you. If you so fast going down early to MBV here, and then HBK, lots of acronyms here, HBK gets the kill onto Boron. That's actually fantastic coming in for John Balls after a pretty heavy loss in that first team fight.
Yeah, no, the Zarya just used a bubble really early there and then walked into the middle of the point, which just left herself really open to the nade coming out from Wu Yang. And then at that point, you know, you're just cleaning up.
Comes to be that simple, right? Just kind of cleaning up one bit anti-nade and boom, that's kind of the impact that Ana does provide. That being said, 20% for John Ball so far. They have Pulse, they have Nano. I see MBV coming in a little bit sneaky of a Pulse Bomb. Doesn't really find anything in a group of 4 though.
Yeah, bit of a rough one. Nano does come out as well. You'll build Primal off it, you know, you're kind of just stalling for time at this point. You know, you don't really need to do anything if they're not walking forward. So you don't need to press the issue. They do press the issue, but anyway.
They do press the issue, in fact. And it ends up in one of their own going down early. The Soldier, once more, being the one picked off, and then MBB following right after the fact. But despite everything, they have, as you mentioned, stalled at least 50% of this point back in their favor, if not a slightly more so than that. And at the very least, Need Bastion, after cleaning up the opposition, will have 4 ultimates. I'll say 5 with Fuse so fast on the Deadeye. That's honestly, I would take that. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you're after trading 3 ults for nothing, you know? That's really best case scenario you can get. And you just, honestly, at this point, with the ults you have, if you just use them well, you can kite out the rest of the round, just taking out 1 or 2 at a time.
I love this, Nisipata's like belief in the backline being fine after the Winston dive, because I think we saw Cruciform go right over the Zarya, and my man was like, yeah, I'm not looking behind me. I know they're completely fine. Point is being forced though by John Balls, however, forcing the Deadeye and the Graviton Surge, both of which going to be basically finding 3 for their efforts. And with that being said, a good cleanup for SCR Need Bastion.
Really nice buy, really clean actually. There's a really good grab catching onto 3, just taking the entire thing immediately, you know? Nothing really you can do at that point. You don't have a beat, you don't have anything really. You can't use a rally inside of a grab, you know?
Yeah, I feel like most breakers typically do tend to use the rally with the grab to get the excellent shield. And it's kind of the same idea as like a Rhine shield versus a grab. It's okay for one angle, but when you're being out angled like this, and Mage just went right up to Wubbaloo and just said, "Oh, you're visoring? Me no care. I'm just gonna blossom right in your face and shut it down." Now super separated is the flanker, so the Winston and the Tracer versus the backline. Wu Yang Lover does get taken out. We do get a sneaky little flip here, however. But it might be a little bit short-lived, unfortunately, for John Balls.
Yeah, I mean, the layering of the support ults there wasn't too great, but I think they are going to get away with it here, maybe, actually.
Ooh, really nice boop coming in from Yoran. However, will it be enough, as they are getting kind of pressured out by the opposing Lucio of Wu Yang Lover, who has gone to the Lucio swap just for touch, kind of weakening the backline a tiny bit for John Balls, but if they're able to at least find the fight win here, maybe it's worth it? Winston's back though.
Yeah, I mean, Wu Yang Lover kept that alive himself there. Got the Zarya extremely low. And then you have Pulse Bomb online, you're going to get the Primal as well. And you know, your Deadeye and Grav combo coming on for if you're SCR. But that's still a bit out, so it's going to be a bit tough here for them.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be a little bit tougher. They only have, again, the Deadeye Grav combination coming up online in about like another half of the fight. Otherwise, John Balls, at least they have a coming Primal, they have Pulsar, which is going to go wide. It, I think does give Nisty Pata a little bit of extra charge here, but not enough survivability. He is completely called out by Cruciform on with the Primal on deck here. Lever gets another boop kill onto the opposition, and suddenly we're in overtime, and there's really not many forces here for Need Bastion to continue this fight up. I mean, poor Okiriko, Aegis does get completely shut down by MBB. MBV. And that being said, somehow, some way, with a very last-minute stall that came from John Balls in the previous fight, they win the entire round.
Yeah. No, like I'll credit that entire thing to Wu Yang Lover on the Lucio. Actually, like the Lucio break backline shouldn't work, but he was just getting so much damage out there onto the DPS of SCR that it just didn't matter that they were lacking the healing.
No, seriously. And again, on paper, it's like, okay, Brig and Lucio, LOL, AoE heals, like, GG, shake my hand, we go next. But this time, I think, again, also, I think what's also really good is that, again, because of Wu Yang Lover really just kind of putting in a lot of extra damage output, that was great. Also, there was, like, such a small margin of time left that I think they could have, if it was more like a 99% to like a 20%, that would have been a little more devastating to have Lucio and
yes.
Brig for that long. But because it was like 80 to 99, they stalled long enough and got so much value. Next fight coming in very early on here. Cruciform goes in for a dive and cannot get out fast enough. Fuso, whoa, what a boop. Whoa, what a boop! Yup, Wu Yang Lover, popping off.
The Baptiste is a bit of a strange pick here, to be honest, especially with the monkey in play. Maybe he doesn't have the Kiriko and he just thinks that he'll be able to survive easier on the Baptiste compared to the Ana before, which is fair enough. But it will make life a bit hard for Cruciform.
Yeah, I have to agree. You know, a BAP with any sort of, when you're not really with your team, it makes it so much difficult to do your job in general. I mean, you're not able to use your shift and playing you in the shift because your Winston's out there diving and so is your Tracer. That being said, though, they do get the flip. They do get the first point, or second point, excuse me. He started off for themselves early on. Separating the Zarya from the back line, forces the bubble on themselves very selfishly. And will it be enough to stay alive? Well, we have to get our Baptiste out of there. HBK's Metallic Food has been broken down by the Zarya, looking a little bit worse for wear here. As we have limited resources for John Balls to continue this fight, especially, again, not even resources, but also losing out an entire player. That is damage no longer in the fight. But wait a minute, no Kiriko means let's get active.
Yeah, I mean that's the beak does come out though. That's actually a really good beat here to keep the tempo up after losing your soldier early on. It's a really nice replacement for all that damage being lost. Especially with the enemy Kiriko going down on top of that, it just really is a good beat. And you're still strong here ult-wise. You're a bit down because both support ults are coming online for SCR. It's just a matter of them not layering them again, realistically.
Yeah, using like maybe the Deadeye early, or maybe just something one or twice. Nothing all. I don't want to use all 5 at one. Fuso fast though, looking very low, but thankfully Mage does shut down this flank angle from MBV. And with that being said, we're gonna just actually rip open the grab and the Deadeye, the Death Blossom as well. And that's a very clean, easy team win for Need Bastion. Very simple and common combination of the two.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just as you said, pretty simple combination. You will be walking into the Primal here, and if they decide to hold the window, they'll have a window visor, but I just don't know how much that's going to really get if you can just bubble a TP Reaper onto your head, you know?
I know. Well, I love the aggression from Need Bastion, though. They are basically playing in the opposition's spawn area somehow, some way. We don't lose out on our Lucio, we lose out on anybody, despite going down so low, right? So John Balls needs to regroup here, and they have to face a Deadeye and a Sound Barrier. Looks pretty okay with the Primal on deck.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, you can just play really fast onto this this castle's head, make life really difficult for him. Probably forced to be here as well, yeah.
Ooh, Deadeye finds one! Oh, that was a good Deadeye. Catching the Baptiste lacking for a second there. Even after the window and Primal were both committed. That is fantastic for Need Bastion. All they gotta do now, they know this visor's online. They have to find a way to separate themselves away from it, though.
Or you could just do the complete opposite, honestly, and just get on top of them.
Oh, real.
You know, it's not much use if this really high charged Zarya at the moment and the Reaper and the Cast are all on top of you. Here it is now.
There it is. Cruciform goes down first, and everyone has pretty much backed away from the Soldier. We do get a trade-off. The Lucio for the Winston. Honestly, pretty favorable for John Balls here. I would say, or excuse me, not John, for Need Bastion, as they do at least have a tank with them, and they have Graviton Surge. That being said, though, a little bit split from the back line is HBK, not able to keep Wubolo alive either way. Sound Barrier on top of that, and the Graviton Surge. Bubble is a fruitless endeavor from John Balls, as they're unable to stay alive against the force of the Graviton Surge and the damage output. 99%, there is a touch to be seen, but will it come any later than that? I don't know. So round 3 coming underway.
Yeah. I think the major difference between that round and the first one was the ult management from Need Bastion. They weren't wasting them at the start of fights or at the end of fights. They weren't layering them needlessly. They were just really methodically letting them out one by one, not overcommitting to fights they didn't have to commit, get the one pick and just leave it there.
Round 3. Pretty fantastic. And pretty close. I mean, round 1 was 99 to 99, and then this one was a little bit marginally not as close. Marginally, of course. 99 to like, what, 80%? That's still pretty fine, I feel like, to most players. But John Balls was unable to really find the flips. They got a lot of sneaky flips in the first round on Village. I think it's a little bit easier to do because there's a lot more flank angles to go for. On something like, I think that was Sanctum, it's harder to weave behind the team because the eyes are everywhere and so enclosed. But we're back on open space like Temple, thankfully. So I feel like with Need Bastion being here first, this should give them some pretty good sightlines, really good scouting on any sort of off-angle shenanigans coming in from John Balls. But Wuyong Lover back on the namesake. We have Wuyong taking care of the Lucio, and suddenly the momentum has shifted so in favor of Need Bastion. We do get rid of the Wuyong, but we still have HBK filling in that support role.
And you brought back to a 3v3 here, now 3v2. You know, that was what should have been realistically a lost 5 from the 2 early picks from John Balls, but just they didn't really take care of Pew, so he was just able to do what he wanted. Like there's not going to be much resistance really from a Papu Yang backline once you're on top of them, and especially the Winston as well. He can't really peel past using the bubble, which he used early on his engagement, so it was really good timing actually from Pew.
Wait, now look at this composition from John Balls. We have Ryan, we got Bab, we got Moira. Now, hold on. Well, what I'm a little worried about is that there's no speed. There's a lot of healing output, that's great and all, but the ability to kite in and out is just not going to be there for John Balls. Maybe it doesn't matter because MVV just doesn't care and gets rid of Mage. We get the trade-off for Wubolo and maybe even onto Wuyong Lover. So few so fast. Again, really just showcasing why Reaper is so strong, even after a couple of the nerfs that did come his way.
Yeah, I mean, like, he still has the fast TP, which is just such a great tool for him getting in quickly, and there's just not much you can do, you know? He will have the Death Blossom coming into this next fight as well. They may pair it with the Kitsune Rush, but honestly, if they think they can just bypass that Reinhardt's shield, they can just stick a bubble on him, and he'll do what he wants.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's a great thing about the Zarya and the Reaper composition together, right? They synergize so well. Ooh, good scout onto Wuyong Lover. Trying to go for a little bit of an off-angle route on the right side with the Tracer, and it actually just does come to fruition. Oh, but why not get a little bit of teleport into the Blossom onto Wubolo again. Now trying to find this 1v1 against the Bastion, not against the Baptiste. Not gonna find it, unfortunately. And once again, now it's a matter of John. Oh, Aegis with a sneaky headshot onto MBV. Either way, though, John Balls are likely gonna want to stay on the stabilize, stay on the point, and a shatter already built up comes down with the Amplification Matrix. Yeah, you're done, Nissipata. You're done.
Yeah, that was actually a really good fight from John Balls there. Like, despite losing 2, actually it was, before even being able to do anything, they somehow managed to claw their way back into that. I think it's maybe due to a slight bit of an overextension from Pew with that Death Blossom. Oh my lord.
3K Pulse Bomb in the year 2025. You love to see it. You love to see it. And John Balls keep the point in their favor just from that bomb.
Don't know how he's managed to do that in a pre-fight. Like, surely you have Suzu to at least save yourself from that one, but I guess not. Now it's going to be a really favourable fight here for Need Bastion, and with the they're be engaged and they have the grab and the high noon here coming online.
Ooh, I love me a good aggressive beat. Love if I'm Bjorn, but look at any value. Well, we lose out on 1, possibly 2. We get the trade off. There's also the sound barrier reversal from John Balls. Meaning, guess what? We are still in this fight much longer than Need Bastion can go for themselves. Separating the Kiriko from the Zarya a little bit here. Backliners are trying to stay alive and stabilize with one another, but then they separate once again. Now looking at the Aegis, then looking at the Lucio, then leaving the Zarya pretty much for last in the backline.
Yeah, it's really good off-angling from MBV. Like, he knows where he has to be. He's on top of that Kiriko, on top of the Lucio, just making sure that they cannot keep the Zarya online. And that's really, really important, because even if she has all the charge in the world, if she doesn't have healing, not much she can do.
Even if she has bubbles charged, yeah, my girl is very, very vulnerable without any support with her. You're absolutely right. And they know this. They know they have to find a way to walk in. And we're walking on off angle with the visor. High Noon on the high ground. The shield comes in clutch from Cruciform. But the Graviton Surge will be the end all be all for SCR Need Bastion. Thankfully, they do flip it at the 99% marker. We do lose Aegis to the Pulse Bomb. Again, no Susan to be seen, but likely used earlier in that engagement. Chris Farm comes back, spawning early. Can we charge in? We do see it from Wu Yang Lover, but the momentum, they're staggering in, and you and I both know staggering in fights are not exactly our favorite. John Ball is going down to Need Bastion in a 2-1 fashion, now giving Need Bastion a point on the scoreboard.
Yeah, no, it was a very close map, but it just... The ult usage was really good from Need Bastion there when it needed to be. Just cycling it, maybe a little bit of an early beat there, you know, kind of nearly cost them. Because by the time they were actually into the middle of that fight, they just didn't have the overhealth anymore. But they had the rest of them that they needed to get over the line, especially with a massive grab and a flanking High Noon.
That play of the game onto Young Lover, yeah, definitely deserved. My man was single-handedly saved Village. I'll say it, single-handedly saved Village for John Balls, but only so much can be done on the 3rd round. I think it was just a little bit of a competent struggle for John Balls. Like, they started off with the Winston again, with Wu Yang, and then you mentioned it, like, once you're on top of that backline, yeah, like, GG's. They can't really sustain each other during a very high charge brawl like that with the Zarya Reaper, all that jazz. So I feel like they struggle a little bit in finding a comp that did end up working at some point, but it comes back to, is it too late to swap? Is it the momentum has already shifted too much against them? You know, that kind of pendulum swing was too far against them.
Yeah. No, Control is a very momentum-based game. You know, you build up your ults quick, you get the first cap at the point, you can snowball it pretty easily, especially on a map like Nepal, where you can just funnel people through choke points. It just becomes extremely easy. And a bit me thinking the Ryan pick was maybe... It could have been a target ban onto the Ramatra. Just seems a weird enough tank to have as your go-to brawl pick, you know?
Yeah, I agree. You know, people that haven't really banned out Ramatra first is very like, oh, you know, you'll see more as a common like map 2, map 3, map 4 ban more often than not. At least in the first 3 series or first 3 maps of a 1st to 3 series. Especially they're like, hey, this ramp has been doing a little too much. Let's get it out of here. So I think you're right. I think it might actually have been a more intelligent ban that we were really giving it credit for in the very beginning. And now that it's back online, and maybe you can see Cruciform possibly wrap the character as we go into the map 2, which again, John Balls will have the map and mode pick here. So the world is their oyster. Do we go to a flashpoint? Do we go to a hybrid? Do we go to an escort push? All of that is very much in their favor. And if they want to play a Ryan or a Ram or an Orisa kind of brawl style, flashpoint. A low serve also don't hurt nobody.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Tsubasa doesn't get much better if you want this hard run brawl, you know? And maybe you could even just go to a dive map if you really wanted, because they were showing the dive there on that, and we didn't see anything from Need Bastion, so you could just take your hand at it, see what happens, you know? Worst comes to worst, you just go back to a brawl map 3 and just run it down, you know, on the Ram if you so wish.
Oh, for sure. And okay, of the available, the available dive maps we have available to us, we have Gibraltar, of course. Like, that is a classic Route 66, also very much can play the Winston there with an Ana Brig or a Kira Lucio or whatever really you want to play there. Even to an extent, I feel like Esperanza, we see some Winston compositions get played there. But the flexibility of being able to play brawl or dive, I feel like it's a little bit too much of a risk to take for John Balls. I think going somewhere like Gibraltar, which is so famous for just being a dive heavy map.
Yeah.
Some funky variations I've seen I've seen a Roadhog meme on all 3 points of Gibraltar, and I'm like, you know what, this is my game. But maybe we don't gotta see that. I hope we don't.
Just a handshake and lobby beforehand, you know, just let's smoke
Please.
a Roadhog.
Please don't go Roadhog unless you're doing the bridge thing. That's all I care about. Please. But yeah, so there's definitely, as you mentioned, dive can in fact be the name of the game for John Balls. I think they had a pretty good dive, especially I feel like their tracer was typically winning out a lot of 1v1s, picking off the Kiriko early on, picking off a caster, or the DPSs, winning tracer duels more often than not. I feel like they're only stopped by like a Reaper and a Cassidy, which again, like Reaper can out-sustain during 1v1, and then Cassidy is the character of all time and does not care about tracer. So I think that could be some merit in playing dive.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, just ban out the cast. You know, just make life even easier for yourself. You can just run your whatever you want. You can run around a brig if you really wish. You know, just if you can get the double flankers going, get a monkey going. I don't see why not.
That too. Oh, speaking of double flankers, Genji back online here was banned previously. I feel like that also might be something worth mentioning. Is a possibility of a double flex DPS back lineup of the Genji and the Tracer. You know, it's kind of converging on one target and everyone explodes. That's great. And again, renders pretty much characters like Cassidy relatively, I don't want to say useless, but relatively more difficult to play into a Genji because of deflect. That's it. I hate deflect. Ooh. Cool. It's cool. Can you tell I play support? Can you tell I play Ana? Can you tell I don't like Genji and flankers? Yeah. I'm sorry. Oh my god. But yeah.
I mean, most people aren't gonna like a Genji coming at them. You know, it doesn't matter what role you're on, really. And especially even if you're on the hit scan, you almost in a lot of cases you do need to swap to something a bit more sturdy, like the cast, because you need to have your backline now. You can't just let him have his way with them.
Ooh! Next map! It is gonna be Sarvasa. Look at that. Oh, I love knowing teams. I love knowing my players. So Sarvasa up on deck here. We mentioned it. Really good for Brawl. Of the available maps, I would feel like this is a good secondary go towards. I feel like a lot of teams like to go to Flashpoint second, more often than not. And I think it's because like the momentum and the mental between Control and Flashpoint isn't all that different. I feel like you need to be in a different headspace to properly play a payload map like Hybrid or Escort, even Push to an extent. But at least you're going from Control to Flashpoint. I feel like you're still in the same headspace. You're still in the same kind of composition vibe. So that being said, I do expect to see Ramatra. I do expect to see in Orisa some sort of brawl coming in from John Balls, as they do get the first ban here. And this could be a protection ban onto a tank or a DPS if they really wanted to.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh.
There you go. Get the Zarya out of the way.
We can't even talk.
No. If they want the Ramatra and play, you know, getting them off of the Zarya, which was what was working for them really well on that last map, just makes life a whole lot easier. But I mean, actually, in turn, it might just put them onto the Orisa, which will make life a bit harder for you than playing into a Zarya.
Well, that too, because I think you know, our in the rosters in the lineups, you can see that I think the tank for the tank here for John Balls likes to play Orisa. That has like their goal, like their whole profile picture is like Orisa, right? So I think that might be actually a play here if they want to play Orisa at any point. The Bastion, though, they have the option of a damage or support ban. I feel like they were having not really too much trouble, to be completely honest, with any one character, any one player on the team from John Balls. So I feel like this again could lean more towards like a ban specifically on Flashpoint, like a character that's really good on Flashpoint. For example, I think Venture's pretty good on Flashpoint. I have to put out there, they're just annoying on Flashpoint. Even a Cassidy ban can go pretty well here. Maybe a backline ban of Kiriko or Lucio. I feel like, oh my goodness, wait, Wu Young Lover on Lucio, a problem. Get it out of here. Wait, that might be the play for Need Bastion.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe actually the Baptiste could be a good one because you didn't see any Kiriko at all in that first map. So I feel like you're just going to see more toward the Bap Lucio kind of thing, which will put them onto the Ana, which again just makes your life easier.
Oh, for sure. And Ana and Sarvasa has it been done? Yes, I've seen it get done, and I've seen it have varying levels of success, but very low pick rate, extremely low.
Yeah.
In comparison to like your Kiriko's, you know.
Yeah. It really helps if your name is Shu to pull it out on Cervasa.
If your name is Shu. Yeah. It's hard playing such a slow mobile character. I've seen it though. I've been jumped. Oh my goodness. I had a scrim once actually where I just got jumped by this Ana like all the time on Saravasa. Her playstyle immaculate. Like she was never with the team. She was always on her own doing her. She was on the angle at all times, and I was just getting jumped over. And I was like, "Girl, what are we doing?" And she beat me. She was really good. So that being said, it's very like one-off. We're still waiting on ban from Need Bastion. Very much taking. Feel like they might expect a dive again to come to fruition, and the Zarya is just kind of there to mitigate any sort of synergy between herself and a Reaper, which I think also is very valid to think.
Yeah, no, for sure. They're really giving themselves the best opportunity to take this one and even it back up. Yeah, I mean, they really are hard theory crafting whatever this ban is going to be.
Well, I do at the very least know. Oh, hi. I do at the very least know that there is going to be a swap here coming in from SCR Need Bastion. We have Mage coming out, who was the caster, I believe, one of the DPSers, one of the DPS, and then we're gonna have Crystal in instead. So I wonder what Crystal does bring to the table with maybe this character pool. Maybe they want to go for a double flex DPS backline, double flex DPS with a Tracer and a Genji. If I'm thinking of taking out their Hiscan and putting in somebody else, I'm kind of expecting them to fulfill some sort of double role in that sense. So I can't wait to see what Crystal does bring to the table, as John Balls are going to continue, I believe, to stick with their 5 lineup with Form, HBK, MBV, Webelo, and then Wuyong Lover. Maybe some Wuyong gets today. Not exactly sure. But either way, still waiting on that ban from John Balls. From Need Bastion.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what's happening here at the moment. But, yeah, I think World's the Royce are honestly ban-wise. Like,
we're just here waiting for the ban. I mean, at that point, we can only talk for so long and theory for so long. I'm like, okay, all 44 players, all 44 characters are in the game. Oh! That's a crazy ban. Whoa.
Yeah, the exact opposite of what we were thinking there.
I didn't... Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I didn't think they would ban Ana because, you know, Ana Cervasa, not really like... It's not really the peanut butter jelly. It's not really like your cookies and cream. It's... like apples and...
I mean, if I'm really reaching for an angle, I can think they banned the Zarya because they want to get value out of nades, you know. Let's just take that out of the game so they can't do that. You know, maybe you're expecting them just to play more of the dive stuff.
And that's a good read if that's what they're going for, the angle they're going for, of course. But I don't know. I mean, I'm super interested to see exactly what we run out on Saravasa. That being said, we also have one more swap in for Need Bastion. We're gonna actually swap out Bjorn for Ornate Circle. So that's the Lucio. Previously for Bjorn was Lucio on Need Bastion. Now we have Ornate coming in as well. Oh, look at this! Yay! Graphics. We have Crystal again, Ornate Circle coming through. Otherwise, John Ball is sticking with the same 5 rosters. You can see some favorites coming up on deck here. Weon Lover, very much not surprised. But below also likes Soldier, so that explains the Soldier we had seen earlier all the way on Village of Nepal. But otherwise, I feel like when we're talking about comfort picks, I think now that we've seen people's favorites, I think now a lot of things are going to make a lot of sense.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, bringing in a Soldier and player here as well on Cervasa, that's really good. Honestly, there's loads of long lines of sight, especially on that first point. You come out to the opposite side of where all the chokes are of the bazaar and just downrange.
Oh my god. They're gonna... Okay, Marketplace, right? Marketplace is right here. You have the staircase rotation that people like to take. They want to take a nice long angle. Then you have the main way that everyone can take. I'm flipped, sorry, but this is flipped. So I can't really see this. So is gonna go on like the long angle and just go, and everyone's gonna die. I've seen it. I've experienced it. I've been a victim of it. I'm just trying to rotate like the regular way, like a normal person with a normal brain, and then I see this Soj all the way in Timbuktu, shooting, standing still, shooting, and then gets a beautiful railgun, and then that's the end of it. Like, it's done. So I do think there is so much to be said about a Sojourn player now coming in for Need Bastion. Like that, if I'm John Balls, I need to be aware of that 100%. I need to scout that immediately.
It can be a bit harder on some of the other points, but luckily Servasa has a lot of like high grounds just surrounding the points where you just slide back, jump up, and not much they can do. Just,
even
really
more so. No, you go on.
It really is a nice map to play Soldier on.
It is, and it was John Balls' pick here, right? So it kind of, I don't want to bite them because I see this a lot where sometimes a team will go, okay, we're really good. Mauga? I'm sorry. We'll see a team that's like really comfortable going to a certain map, right? But then it turns out the other team is like, oh, we have a strat for this. And it looks like the Need Bastion strat might actually be the Mauga composition. Of course, with Zarya being banned out, John Balls actually on the Ramatra. So you called it perfectly. That was a target ban onto them earlier. Now they have the character online for them. And a very traditional, quote-unquote traditional Brawl composition. Reaper, Tracer, the Lucio, and Baptiste on both sides here. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Ana was actually just so they could play the Baptiste. They didn't have to worry about needing to have a Kiriko to cleanse your Mauga, which just really lowers his downtime so much.
I'm just Mauga. I know Mauga's not anywhere near he was in December 2022, but I still get like flashbacks. I'm sure, like I still get flashbacks. Oh, Ornate Circle. Okay, we're locked in. Okay, we're back. We're back. Oh my goodness. The Ornate Circle, we're just jamming out to the side. Okay, we're back. Thankfully, field used early though. Wu Yang Lover and Cruciform taken down early by Need Bastion's Mauga and Reaper composition here, taking out the Ram, taking out everybody. And that being said, John Balls only relying on MV stay alive, but otherwise it's just gonna have to be a full regroup here from John Balls. No blinks online. Ideally, should be able to find the pick onto the Tracer, and they absolutely will do so with ease.
Yeah, it was all just a ploy from Ornate Circle, you know.
Pretend to be
DC, they all int onto you, and then your team just surrounds them. Worked like a charm.
That's a strat. That's a new strat. Wait, we gotta trademark this. Ornate Circle just came up with a new strat, just being AFK and then everyone dies after. That's great. In all seriousness though, 50% to the cage fight. At the same time, John Ball is trying to go for the rotation here, forcing the Nemesis form on engagement. Now here comes the slam. Vortex does take care of Ornate Circle, however. Either way, they're still not able to push in, even though they were able to get at least one support out of the way against the Bastion. Where is my backline? Where is my point? It's being contested by Webelo. Hold on. With the Genji. Oh, we're walking in. Oh, wow. This is very messy. Oh, wow.
Wu Yang Lover goes down. That was a really messy fight.
No, I'm not crazy, right? It felt like a little bit of a messier fight, but I feel like a Mauga does kind of thrive on chaos. Oh,
yeah. You really don't want to go in onto a Mauga before he has to use any of his cooldowns, like, especially when you're down a player as well. I feel like they felt like they just had to make something happen there rather than actually needing to make something happen.
Yeah, I have to agree, and it comes down to like, if you played in the peak of Mauga era, right? You know that he is basically nothing. He's so naked without at least his cardiac overdrive. And more often than not, you know, John Balls are engaging with Nemesis form, engaging with speed boost, without taking care of the more important parts of Mauga's kit, which does leave him so vulnerable. So that's why Need Bastion will get 1 point, and they have 5 ultimates coming up in his next fight on Temple.
Oh, an early pick onto MVP there, actually. Just kind of going to give him the point for free here. I do think John Balls should maybe look towards some form of hit scan, because you're lacking a bit of poke from the Mauga just being able to stand there the entire time, or at least if you have a soldier or something, you can force out a cooldown, at least make him back up, where now he can just play wherever he wants on the map.
I almost had to give me an Ajax Squads. I was gonna say, yeah, I don't like fighting on that coast for a reason into a Lucio. Ornate Circle does get the reversal, and okay, everyone's getting booped off. Oh, everyone's dying today. We're just using things.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't like the from MB.
Okay, Wu Yang Lover has swapped up onto the Brigitte now. I mean, I guess they do want to play slower, so maybe we... Okay, Genji swap. Ooh. Not what I was expecting, but...
Okay.
Not a bad swap, to be honest.
I don't mind the Blossom as much, because we did swap.
Yeah.
but now we're at a deficit. Like, you have Annihilation, which is like a fight win, great, but I don't know, cage fight, I don't know, I'm scared. A little worried.
Yeah. No, as you should be. Like, you can use your Annihilation here to try and stay up inside the cage, but I don't know how well it's going to work.
Here's the Annihilation. Blade does go wide onto Wu Yang Lover, taking the Brig out of the fight here. And again, the Annihilation versus the cage fight. The nice thing about cage fight is that the entire team, as you saw from the Bastion, they all just kind of left the cage and had a free shield to poke at this Ramatra and deplete the Annihilation so quickly.
Yeah, no, it's just free angles, you know? And realistically, you cage fight, you don't use any ults. You just, what happens, and you come in again with your ults.
But
I don't think they're going to be able to actually get a good contest onto this one, actually.
No, you're right. I think they're gonna get. Well, they're gonna get 1-2 on the board, so this does activate overtime. But they're walking to this fight in a 4v5. Resources are already being used. Good window, but we're gonna walk right through that, baby, and you're not gonna use the window at all. Cruciform trying desperately to get a pick here. Does find it onto Ornate Circle with the punches of the Nemesis form, but otherwise 2-0 so far for Need Bastion. Now solidifying a match point so far, and now we're going over to Gardens. One of my favorite points of Saravasa.
Same, actually. I really like Gardens. It's fairly like linear in how it plays, but there's always, for some reason, there's always highlights on the point. I don't know why.
I think this one, Gardens does give like the most freedom, I guess, for rotations, like creativity rotations. You can kite away through the staircase, you can kite away through main. I like this point because I had a really good kite into a re-engage with the Kitsune Rush, and it lives in my head rent free. I love it so much. And that being said, 2 picks coming in from Fuso Fast and Crystal. With that being said, Crystal kind of left naked with no backline. That being said, it's an easy cleanup for Need Bastion. They're going to get Gardens first so far.
Yeah, I mean, very good fight to get the point first, but you did use both support ults for nothing in return. So it's not looking too great for them heading forward into the next fight, especially with Wu Yang ult Blade combo coming online. You do have the Blossom though, which is a plus.
And that got a lot of value last time as well, you know? So,
yeah.
That being said, rotating onto the staircase is going to be John Balls, but MBV, unfortunately, that deflects first, dashes in, left a little bit without any sort of support from the team, leaving him so open to, again, being called out and punished by Need Bastion. Pulse Bomb only mitigates the lamp pressure, otherwise the Tracer is kind of called out easily by Need Bastion. Now 70% to completion.
It's gonna be a 4v5 here on the last fight if they can even get to it, because if I'm Crystal here, I'm gonna try and use this as quick as I can onto that Wu Yang. Just try and make it life as hard as humanly possible.
100%. Oh, Wu Yang Lover already using the wave early on, so it's a little bit of a survivability that's not available to John Balls right now. The Tidal Blast onto the back line. And somehow, some way, Baptiste, as always, has 3 life bars, by the way, so forces the Annihilation to be used from Cruciform. And now we're backing up into the point, but the cage fight is very much going to be the end-all, be-all for the Ramatra. And Need Bastion have pretty much single-handedly held onto Saravasa 3-0. Well done into the Ramatra with a Malga, of all things.
Yeah, I mean, I for sure don't think Malga's weak at all at the moment, actually. I think he's one of the stronger tanks, but he's just maybe a bit more difficult to operate, but it does help if, like, there in that last fight, Cruciform went for that BAP with the Wu Yang ult and just left his team, you know, without any front line to really get rid of that Genji Blade.
Yeah, and I think there's a little too much focus on the Baptiste, right? Like, I feel like once you already have the BAP out of the engagement, you pulled out his lamp, you pulled out ideally his shift as well. You can kind of disengage, leave the Baptiste alone, and go back to the fight with Annihilation still in the back pocket. Cage fight could be popped there, but at least you are with the team. Maybe a little bit too much tunnel visioning. Maybe a little bit too much focus on trying to get those stat numbers up, to get those eliminations, instead of playing the objective. You know? And so I think that's something that John Balls could definitely work on. And it's not the end-all be-all. This is still only map 2. Map 3 coming up on deck here. But we're going to let our players take a little break to get their maps in order, get their bands in order, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes. So with that being said, we'll see you guys on the other end of this. Welcome back, everybody. After a very quick break, as we said, we are now rounding over to our map number 3. Completed Control, completed Flashpoint, leaving the payload maps and a push map available for John Balls to once again be in the hot seat and pick where do we want to go for the best chance at the start of a reverse sweep. That's kind of the name of the game at this point for them. We've already seen the Ram composition, we've seen the Winston, we've seen so much flexibility from these guys. Will we go anywhere that can help them a tiny bit, especially into Need Bastions? Again, as flexible, very flexible composition as well.
Yeah, I think the Gibraltar, as you said earlier, is looking pretty good right now. You know, you've tried your Ram, it really got shut out by the Mauga on that last map, so the Winston was getting changed on first map, so you know, no reason not to try it again.
Oh, for sure. And I feel like, listen, if John Balls are able to go to even a Gibraltar or a Route 66 for escort of all things, and really forces the, I'll say brawl, the dive to come out, right? Yeah. There's a non-zero chance that Need Bastion will just kind of just ban out something in that dive if John Balls doesn't protect something first. So we can see a Winston ban, we can definitely see a Genji Tracer, something like that that does somewhat mitigate that brawl. That dive. We did see the Ana ban though already on Saravasa, which, I mean, if you're John Balls, you're like, we can still play Ana Brig on all of the dive maps, so at least you have that going.
Yeah, I was just gonna touch on that actually. The Ana ban did come out. You just have to, you get first choice of first ban as well here coming into this map. Just ban whatever dive tank you don't want to play. Ban the Wrecking Ball, ban the Diva. Just try and make it as good as you can to run the Winston.
Yep. Quick little reminder of the bans we had so far in this first of 3. Only map 1 and map 2 have been completed. Ram and Genji offline, at least for map 1. Need Bastion also taking out that Ana, as we had mentioned previously. John Balls has the Zarya back online as well, as they had previously banned it on Saravasa, which I think was a good ban also, to be completely fair. But it kind of didn't mitigate anything because Need Bastion had a pocket Mauga that I was not privy to. So, and that Mauga was putting in the work on Saravasa.
Yeah. No, it really came out of left field as well, because not a sign of it on the first map. I mean, maybe the Zarya ban did kind of lend itself into them swapping to that, so we might see them come back to Zarya, who knows, but the Mauga was working really well. So if it's not a dive map, I'd definitely be running right back to that.
Oh, I'm saying, I love me a good... I apologize. I did like the Mauga meta. Not the first one, not the December 2022 one, where we are all traumatized. The previous one, where Clash was still in actual comp mode and everything like that. I was, yeah, that was my favorite time as a Kiriko player. I would just find Mauga go in, I'm like, yep, boom, here's a Suzu, and you're chilling, and then he killed everybody.
Yeah.
So
I
that
didn't
kind of
hate
reminds me of that.
I didn't hate the one that was run at the OWCS Pro Finals last year actually.
Oh,
either, with the Juno Brig.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a Juno Brig. I consider that more Juno Brig meta because it was kind of like you can play Malga, Diva, Orisa, and the backline would not shift whatsoever. Even the front line was like Sojourn, Genji more often than not. And that was just the bread and butter comp of those 4 plus whatever tank was in rotation at that time. And that was also low-key a fun meta, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I won official ones because Diva Juno Brig just came out. Well, not just came out, but they were very strong. If you recall, her boosters were bugged out with the speedruns. She was like Mach 5ing at you at all times. I went official with us. We never scrimmed it. We decided to play quick play for 2 matches, and then we went to officials, and then we won. And we're like, that's a stupid comp.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nappa's ready. We got yes.
There we go.
Oh, we're so good. We're so good at our job.
Yeah.
I mean, we're so good.
2 for
Gibraltar,
2.
let's do it.
So you really are expecting to see the Winston come out now. I think it'll almost a certainty at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like
100%.
No reason not to. Like, unless they really want to run the Mauga or some other brawl tank here on a Symmetra, they can kind of do that. But it's better off just a handshake into some sort of dive mirror.
Yeah, for sure. And I think John Ball's going to be very careful because, yes, thank you. Once again, you popping off with the production here, banning out Diva. Once again, it's a two-sided sword kind of ban here. You ban out the Diva because you get tank protection. And if you want to play Winston, Diva is kind of like one of the few tanks that can kind of put a little bit of a wrench in Winston's counter dives and his plans. So with that being said, I do like the Diva a lot. Need Bastion, now looking towards a backline and the DPS ban, and they already banned out Ana. So what could you do to, again, mitigate the chances of success for John Balls?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could ban out the Brigitte. Just makes the life of the Ana going to be a lot harder. But at the same time, you do have a Wu Yang Loper who will just simply swap over to the Wu Yang if given the chance. So it really could go either way with that. So I'm not really too sure what they could ban out here to be most optimal for them.
I mean, I think you kind of the nail on the head on the, at least from what I would think I would do if I was in this scenario, down 2-0, of course, and going to, like, ideally one of my best chances of success. I would maybe ban out Brigitte. And again, that kind of renders the Ana relatively naked. You can run on Lucio, but the boop doesn't really have as much value as the Brigitte boop and her shield, you know? So I do think this will, if they do ban Brig, it might force that Kiri Lucio, that Wu Yang Kiri, Wu Yang Lucio, anything with Wu Yang would work relatively well on Gibraltar. You can also ban Tracer. I feel like that can be a solid ban because she is pretty much your cart progressor, your cart pusher more often than not. So if you can kind of mitigate that free cart progress that she does get when everyone's fighting on high ground, that could also be really impactful against John Balls.
Yeah, or even the Genji actually. They still have the option open to them, which is very good because of all the verticality on the map. And you can push the point like a Tracer can, but can just get back into the fight a lot quicker.
Yeah,
so
two really good
either
options.
way, yeah.
I don't know. Really is could be anything. We got the really, like, you know, we understood where John Balls was to go for their ban, but I don't know, when you're the ones in the lead and you're the ones really like having the momentum working with you, especially going from map 1 into map 2, like easy wins, it's hard to exactly know what's going on in the comms. But with that being said, the Brig will in fact be the kicker here, so this does make the Ana less likely to be committed to by John Balls. But you know, never say never. You can definitely still run her if you really wish to, but just be very weary about a Winston versus Winston counter dive situation.
Yeah, I mean, need Bastion as well here. They don't want to take the Monkey Mirror for whatever reason. Hazard is really playable on this map, and you can play a less mobile backline with the Hazard. You don't really need those long range shields, you can just hold that space away from the Monkey.
There is a swap we're going to see here. Coming in from, again, Need Bastion. So Fuso Fast, who was our Reaper player, who was, I think, at some point a Cassidy. So basically one of the DPSs from Need Bastion will be taking a step back here. We're going to actually have Twix. Ooh, Twix coming through for that swap for that substitute for Need Bastion. Otherwise, looks like we have everyone else sticking to it. Aegis or Name Circle, Nisti Pada 14, Twix, and Crystal. Do hope to see. Oh, wait, girl, hold on. I see a little bit bigger faction on Gibraltar.
I think I do know who Twix is, and they are hitscan players, so that could be the angle here. More than likely, especially if they're playing Widow as their favorite, you know. So it's one of the maps where Widow can get some change on at the moment.
I think it's also worth it always to have, or it is worth it to possibly have like a specialist in the back line. Especially if it's like Widowmaker. Ooh, Circuit Royale, you're in. Gibraltar, you're in. Like you're in for all of these pretty Widow favorite maps. So this does make sense. I do feel like we might see SCR Need Bastion possibly just kind of set the Widow up on that opposing bridge, on that little like window that sees everything, and then see ahead to get popped off maybe once or twice. Might swap back over to something else. Maybe if they don't get too much value, we might just see a Soj instead fill that role. Maybe a Freya. We haven't seen Freya in a bit. I think she's still really good, especially in the right hand, in the right composition.
Yeah, I mean if they're a hardcore hitscan player, I think maybe the Freya might be stretching it, you know. But I think even just Sojourn works fine. The Ashe, she isn't too strong, but if you're hitting the headshots, you're hitting the headshots, you know?
Exactly. And Dynamite's really still relatively strong as an area effect damage. I think a lot of people like to go Ashe. I think second and third point Gibraltar, I think just because you're kind of funneled into somewhat smaller scenarios. Of course, Spaceship, for example, the low ground, the little off room with the Mega Pack. Dynamite, boom, everyone's burning, everyone dies. So she can get some playtime, but my girl's not as popular anymore, and I love me some Ashe. Oh, I love Ashe. I wish she was like meta low-key.
You can also deny the dive as well with the coach gun. So you know there is some actual windows for it to be used.
No, 100%.
Could be a lot worse for them. Yeah.
So,
I do think we will see the Widow though.
Oh, for sure. Especially if they're like on attack first. Oh, you just get a little sneaky shot. You're done. Like you're done, buddy. TP me up to the bridge. We're good. But then again, the backline. I think it's going to be something more akin to maybe we haven't seen Kiriko too often from John Ball, so I think they might off chance they might just go Bap Lucio again. That's been a pretty big favorite for John Balls, and I think this might be one map where Bap might struggle the most because my whole team is on the high ground. I'm down here or I'm off somewhere else trying to not get sniped out by somebody, not get killed out by someone off in no man's land, right? So maybe a backline swap could be good for John Balls. Not sure.
Yeah, no, I think the Baptiste would struggle a lot, to be honest. Especially, you know, it's dive map. He's not going to want to be sitting there taking all that in the face.
What's happening, my spawn room? Ooh, I like it. I like it. Okay, so we are seeing, at least in the spawn area, we have the Winston, the Tracer, we have Bastion on deck here. So this does look like something that we might just see for a couple of seconds and then everyone gets pulled back and swaps.
Yeah.
Need Bastion, though. Kind of something that I was expecting with the Winston. The Ana, I'm actually surprised with, but the Oyari, I forget about her all the time. She can definitely at least help with that pylon, keeping everyone alive in that backline. Otherwise, dive comes in early from John Ball. Cruciform is in the bridge area. Nade used defensively early on from the Ana, now being pushed back to the Yari, forcing the pylon break. But Cruciform, I think, is a little bit too far in there, going down 5 HP and no one there to help him out.
Jumping without the bubble there onto the enemy backline, especially when it's Solarian and Ana, you are just going to get burned down insanely quick. Especially the monkey behind you as well in that fight, your backline does not have any chance of getting to you at all. Just over before it even starts, really. And you're seeing a swap over onto the Wu Yang already, which I think is a good swap. Because the Lucio really isn't going to get much done.
And Lucio's good on paper, but yeah, on this map, especially with this composition, you struggle so much on Lucio. And also, you just know where to wall ride. I feel like with the rotations you're taking, there's just nowhere to go. MBV taken out by Aegis early on the Yari. Great headshot, great mechanical pressure being put onto the backline. The Dynamite comes in from the Ashe, however, from Crystal. We hadn't even mentioned we have Ashe gameplay.
Yeah, and that's not the player we thought either.
Oh.
Still on the Bastion here. I'm really not seeing this. Like, if they had the Symmetra, sure, but it's going to be extremely hard for him to get any angle where he's actually going to be able to get into Terraform and just burn down at least a Winston to half HP, so he has to back.
Yeah, that's also what I've been thinking. Oh, Nisi Pasta actually going really low though. 18 HP actually does get the self-nade, thankfully. So a little bit extra healing output given back to the win. The car has now progressed halfway through the first point of Gibraltar, losing out on Crystal. Damage output no longer there. The Bob also online as we are only 82% away from it. Either way, 2 minutes on the clock still. John Ball is now looking a little bit better. The contest is in fact in our favor. Our circle has Nano also online. 2% away is HBK. So it comes down to a Nano fight at some point.
That's a massive pick from Ornate. It does get traded out by Cruciform, however, and they do still have this Nano online and Primal as well now, actually. Primal comes out, HBK goes down with the Nano.
Oh no, and also the Bastion has no form, so they're getting looked at by Twix. Oh, a lot of trade-offs, but the Primals are trading things in favor of Need Bastions for now, forcing Cruciform to get out of dodge and regroup with the team if possible, but that HP pool looking very low, worse for wear, and Crystal's back to put some pressure onto this Tracer. Recall forced out, and now you're back out.
Yeah, I mean, very messy fight, just closer respawns wins it out at the end of the day. Still both teams though, a lot of ultimates online. The Bastion ult, actually a good one for this. You know, backline ain't too mobile, you just need to pop one down, try and corner them off, and then use the other two to try and get a pick onto the Ana or Larry, whichever is in the worst space.
Oh, totally agree with you. Oh, only 1 minute left though. Sleep goes nowhere because the bubble does come into fruition. We have to use the Nano at some point because we might go down, please. Oh my god, this one is on my Ana, like white on rice, and Cruciform is in the back line, gets dynamited and taken down for the count. Why not for good measure? Trade the Nanos, give it to my Winston, trade build up a little bit more of that Primal again, and get some kills on top of that. I don't know how Ornate lived that. What a peel from Aegis.
Yeah. I mean, the self-nade combined with the Alari turret sitting above his head on that high ground, and the Alari beam, just the Winston even with the Nano is burning through all that healing.
We
I
are.
like Weaver's spot now as well, actually.
I believe he is going to be called out by Ornate Circle early on. Doesn't even rotate back. Nisi Paso does it and sent back over to the spawn room. So no frontline pressure from Need Bastion. In fact, the dive is easy to perform onto the backline. Aegis does have the Captive Sun. Will we use it? We have the Bastion ult also going wide. Again, doesn't really find too much. Aegis so low though, and taken down by the Winston. Well below, going very low, has to reach free. Uses the form on the low ground, finds Twix barely alive. But Insapata with the immediate time for Monkey and comes back into the fight early enough to clean up the opposition. No Ana needed, no Primal needed, no nothing, just straight vibes, and we hold first point.
Yeah, the Bastion went about as well as expected without playing for the Bastion. It's just you're really hoping your team can take a lot of space without you doing anything, and then you can get some value, like you saw at the very end there. He was able to pick off the enemy Ana of Ornate. But yeah, I mean it's still winnable.
It is, because I think Gibraltar as a map in general, you don't really see. There's times where you don't really see the second or third rounds more often than not. Like most of the time on Gibraltar, you just kind of get full held on first, and it's possible to defend it. I think it's easier because the cart is pushed all the way to the last part, which feels kind of weird to say, but it's easier to defend it if it's already past the halfway point. Halfway point is like, okay, we can stall it at this first corner for a relatively long time and then re-engage fast enough before it caps, pretty much caps first, right? That being said, the spawn room is looking ripe with damage output up the Wuza. We have Mauga and Crystal on Bastion so far. John Ball is going over to Ramatra, so it might be a brawl v brawl situation, possibly.
Yeah.
Below back on Bastion, however. Oh, I lied. Sorry.
Now, this is the type of comp that I was talking about that you would need to run if you really wanted to run that Bastion. Like, just it has to be fully centered around him and the Mauga and the Sim and the Kiriko as well. Just they all lean into it so well. You just get this fast TP and then you're on top of them already.
Love it. Twix, I think, is going to stick onto the Symmetra as well, looks like. Anti-nade, big Suzu, big kill onto Webbelow as well. What a start. What a start here for Need Bastion. Mind you, car has not moved anywhere, not a single inch. Someone has to go at least babysit the cart a little bit. Yeah, you can see Pata is pinging it like, hey, the cart, guys, all this work and we're not...
Yeah, but I mean, at least on the flip side, you do have the entire map now to play with. If you just have one person on point, you have the sim just to pop them up whenever you need them.
And it's not on high ground, not my favorite. Forced to drop down though. What a bomb from Wobolo. Again, forcing the repositioning from the Malga. Very short-lived. Thankfully, the staircase is right there for Malga to go up and play with for Nisti. So, that being said, Twix will be the one to push the objective. Aegis takes down the Bastion, however, of all people. That being said, the damage output no longer really there for John Balls. Even more so, the Cassie gets walked on by the opposition. And it's an easy, again, cleanup for the Brawl here.
Yeah, every day it's just going to outlast the Winston comp, you know? Just so much damage right into his face. The bubble is just going to get destroyed by the Bastion and the Symmetra, and there you go.
Very simple, really good way to just kind of use speed and pressure against the opposition. All they really did was teleport over to different high grounds and put their Bastion and their Malga in favorable positions. And John Balls didn't have a fast enough response more often than not. So that being said, really well done from John Balls and from Need Bastion with a 3-0 win here, not just on Gibraltar, but also just in the series in general. Really great stuff. And John Balls, I mean, it was a good valiant effort, but there's some things can be changed. You know, I think taking notes on how to play that Bastion from Need Bastion, funnily enough, will help them a lot more if they want to continue playing that Bastion on Gibraltar. Yeah. You need some sort of teleporter, speed boost, something for him to get around a largely vertical map like that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty impossible otherwise. You know, they don't want to play in your range, you want to play in theirs, but you just can't get there. You know,
it's hard.
Insanely hard. You're up the creek without a paddle most of the map. Honestly, it's really rough. But
we don't lost.
I was gonna say the flexibility on display from Need Bastion was actually really good, showing that they can play both the different comps there on that map, not tied into anything. It just means great things for them going forward, to be honest.
Oh, 100%. That kind of flexibility, especially in a diamond level, is very much something a little bit more rare to see, I feel like, more often than not. So it's very good for Need Bastion, especially because I think it got them the win more off at the end of the day, is that ability to be flexible with their play styles.
Yeah.
Otherwise, as always for CGL, we're going to have an interview coming up and lined up for you guys. So in just a couple minutes, we're going to have somebody from the victors talk to us about all the tea that went on in that match. In the meantime, be right back after this short break.
Lots of love. Lots of love. Got lots of love.
Welcome back, everybody. As I mentioned, we have an interview, but not with just one Victor, but two of them from Need Bastion. They gained the 3-0 here, and we have the tank and the one of the backliners coming in for these guys. We have Aegis and Nisi Pata coming through. Guys, how are we feeling? Great 3-0 series. Started off super close on Nepal. So I guess my first question to you, besides of course how you're doing, is what changed between the 2-1 on Nepal into a 3-0 and a 1-0 decisively in the next two maps?
I feel like it was 100% the Genji ban. We just had few doing whatever we wanted on Genji, and that basically won us it.
Yeah, but like, I think our comms were a lot more clear. We knew what we were gonna do, like, before the game even started. Like, I think at the Nepal, we were just so confused. We didn't know what to focus. We weren't focusing anything. And there was just so many weird comms compared to like Suravasa, for example. The comms were clear. We knew what they were gonna do every fight. And we just won every fight.
Cool. Just want to ask about on Gibraltar there about the Bastion comp. Was that completely off the cuff, or was it something you practiced?
Yeah,
before?
we made it up. Like, we made it before like the map started when we knew it was Gib. We just decided, yeah, we're going attack, Mauga, Bastion, and then Sim.
Okay.
And then we just like decided to roll in and just slam on everyone, and we just killed them somehow.
Yeah, no, the sim work was really coordinated. Actually, it looked like something that wasn't off the cuff. So, if you hadn't even played it before in a scrim, that's
No, we have never tried that. Like, we just randomly decided to try that shit.
Yeah, no, you're.
Yeah, we don't even run Sim normally.
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't like Sim.
Most people don't.
I'm one of them. Go on.
And then kind of piggybacking off that one a little bit, your flexibility across the three maps was very good, from Zarya comps to Metal comps, and you're playing a bit of dive there as well on your defense on Gibraltar. How do you think that's going to help you fare up against other teams on the run into playoffs, and then if you do make it into playoffs as well? Then as well?
Tough, because I think we're pretty bad at dive. And we just started picking up the Mauga comp. I'm sorry we've been playing for like weeks now because Sarya's been good, but we've kind of lost with it. The Rhine comps and shit, because most teams play Rhine. It's kind of sad because we don't know how to play against Rhine. Or Rhine Sim, actually.
Okay,
Being more specific. But
yeah,
like,
you have a good counter for it now in that Mauga comp, I think.
yeah, that's what we were thinking, man. I saw Mauga got buffed, and immediately I sent a message that we should start playing Mauga.
Well, I think Mauga definitely he's not like a bad pick at all as well. That's the crazy part. Can in fact be viable, and I feel like you guys kind of figured that out, today. They're like, oh, hold on, Mauga low-key cooking right now. Hold on. So with that being said, really well done with the 3-0 in the series, giving yourself a nice, I think, 3-3 record for the season so far into week 6, or in 7 next week. That being said, I'll give us one last question, and that will be your shout-out question. Who do you guys want to give a shout-out to on the broadcast? And feel free to answer one at a time.
H, you wanna go?
I definitely got to give a shout out to, even though they're not here right now, Mage and Bastion, although they're only here for one map, they had to leave to go to another league game. But they've been big parts of the team the entire season, so it's unfortunate they had to leave, but we pulled through anyway. But shout out to those two.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Octane. Like, I was so ass at teamwork and comms and shit. I'm not the best right now, but like, he's helped me so much on tank. Like, yeah, he's not a good coach, but I don't care, he still helped me a lot.
Say he's not a good coach.
Yeah, he's not really a good coach, but like, he helped me on tank though. So he's a good coach to me, but to most people not.
Fair enough, that works.
And he knows it.
That works. Listen, if even it helps one person, it's a good coach at the end of the day. So
for me at least.
That being said, thank you both for your time. Thank you both. Thank you to you and your team for putting on such a fantastic series for us. And I can't wait to see you guys and how you do into week 7 and beyond. So that being said, have a wonderful day, guys, and we'll see you.
All right, cheers, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And last but not least is just the fact that this may be the end of this broadcast, but we have more coming up on deck here on CGL 1. It was EU right now. Later tonight, we have the NA bracket, the open division. We have Vicious and Unforgiven and Boop Troop coming up on deck here in just around 3.5 hours. So I'll be actually on that broadcast. Hi, I'll see you guys again. In the meantime, though, MCG, this is your first time casting. You did an absolute fantastic job. Pleasure to have not only cast you yesterday, but also cast with you today. So that's a very fun dichotomy. But otherwise, any other last words you want to put on the broadcast?
I mean, first of all, I really enjoyed it. Love seeing some good Overwatch. Love seeing loads of flexibility as well across the maps. I'll definitely be looking at Bastion going forward. I really liked what they were putting forward there today.
100%. Big shout out, of course, to my producers and observer. We had Ladia on OBS. We had Friday on production. Very fantastic job, everybody. And we'll see you guys in a couple of hours for the NA Open Division. In the meantime, go get some rest, get some food, get some water, and we'll see you guys later for NA Open.